Hello and welcome to today's math lesson. So first of all, guys, can we all turn to wave and say a big hello to our friends on camera? Hello. Hello. And we'll begin by doing our meditation sequence. So I will sit down, take 2 fingers, find our heart center, left hand on our laps, and close our eyes. And when you're ready, guys, you can open your eyes and come back to the room. And next we'll do our stretch sequence. So let's stand up and push in our chairs. And we can begin by stretching up high to the sky. And then let's go down low, touch your toes. Then back up high one more time. And this time, can we go tippy toe high? And while we're there, let's have a wave. And then back down to touch your toes. Now hands on hips. Let's have a wiggle side to side. Stop, and then another wiggle side to side. Stop, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, and stop. And now we'll go round and round. Round and round. And stop, and then back the other way. Give our spines a nice stretch. And stop. And to finish, we will do 5 claps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent, guys. Have a seat. So who can tell me what this symbol represents? Division. Yes. We've been doing a lot of work on division lately. D-I-V-I-S-I-O-N. And in our previous math lesson, we learned how to answer word problems involving division. So let's write that title on the board. Division, word, W-O-R-D, problems, P-R-O-B-L-E-M-S. So all together, guys, division, word problems. Now, when we've been doing our division calculations, we've been using a specific method that involves 4 steps. Does anybody remember what method of division? Long division. Yes, we've been doing long division. L-O-N-G. And division D-I-V-I-S-I-O-N. Now, long division has 4 steps involved. Who can tell me what the first one is? Divide. So we have D for divide. And then, after divide, we multiply. M-U-L-T-I-P-L-Y. After we multiply, we subtract. S-U-B-T-R-A-C-T. And then finally, bring down. B-I-N-G. D-O-W-N. So we divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down. That's how we answer all of our division calculations. And what we're going to do now is a recap exercise. I will write a division word problem on the board. Then I will invite a student to come forward and answer that using the long division method that we've learned previously. So first of all, guys, we need our division word problem. There are 462 pencils on table. Yes, there are 462 pencils on a table. Okay, and then we can say there are 22 empty boxes to put the pencils in. Okay, so now time for our question. How many pencils, E-N-C, will go into each box? X. And then what do we need at the end? Question mark. Well done, guys. So let's read it all together first. There are 462 pencils on a table. There are 22 empty boxes to put the pencils in. So what we need to find out, how many pencils will go into each box. And remember, what we need to do, we need to carefully read our word problems and identify the numbers for calculation. So our first number is here, 462. And then our second number here, 22. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to ask my students to close their eyes. And when they wake up, one of them will have a pen to come forward and answer the division word problem. So let's see. Okay, so now the pen is with down. I would like to invite down to come forward to the front of class. So now we have our word problem. Our first number here is 462. So down, can you write that number for us near the bottom? Excellent. So you see, with our division table, the large number goes inside. and the number to divide by goes outside. Now, remembering what we've been doing with two division divisors, the first digit is always too small, so we can write 0 above the first digit 4. So down you can write 0 above the 4. And then what we need to do is we need to look at the first two digits. We need to ask, how many times does 22 go into 46? And the answer is 2. So that's step 1 of our long division process complete. The next one, multiply. 2 times 22 equals 44. Now we're ready for step number 3, subtract. 46 minus 44 leaves 2. And then we're ready to bring down. And what number do we bring down? We bring down the 2. So 2 becomes 22. And what we do is we repeat the process. Now time to divide again. So 22 divided by 22 equals 1. Let's multiply. 1 times 22. 22. And then, stage 3, subtract. 22 minus 22 equals 0. And now, time to bring down again. But do we have any more numbers? No. And we're at 0. So that means we now have our answer, 21. So we can say 21 pencils will go into each box, because we've correctly divided 462 between the 22 boxes. So we know when it's time to put the pencils into each box will hold 21 pencils. And Dan, that was brilliant, very well done. High five and a big round of applause for Dan, please, guys. So that was a recap of the previous lesson when we were doing word problems. And what did you notice, guys, about the final answer when we got to 0? What does 0 mean? Any remainders? No. We get to 0, so we don't have to worry about remainders. But what we're going to do in today's lesson is we're going to stay doing word problems, but this time we're going to involve remainders to show what happens when we have numbers left over at the end of our word problem and how we can account for them using remainders. So I'm going to do a demonstration on the board, but first of all, we need a clean board. So now I'm going to demonstrate how to do another word problem and answer it correctly using the long division method, but then to account for the remainders at the end. So now our next word problem. There are how many? 358 students in a school. In the school, there are how many? 17 classrooms. Okay, so let's read together. There are 358 students in a school. In the school, there are 17 classrooms. So now for our question. How many students go into each class or classroom? A-S-S-R-O-O-M. And what comes at the end? Question mark. Well done, guys. Okay, so now we have our division word problem. First thing to do, always read carefully and identify our numbers. And then what we can do is organize with our division table. So our division table will look like this. The larger number goes inside, 358. And then the divisor outside. In this case, 17. Okay, so now it's time to calculate. And as we know, a one-digit number will always be too small to use with a two-digit number. So above the first digit, we can always write 0. But then we need to ask ourselves, 35 divided by 17. Yes, how many times does 17 go into 35? And the answer is 2. So we can write our answer. That's step 1, divide. Now time for step 2. 2 times 17 equals 34. That's step 2. Now we're ready to subtract. 35 minus 34 equals 1. Okay, now what's next? Bring down. So we bring down the 8, and the 8 becomes 18. And then we go back to the start of the process. So now we ask 18 divided by 17 equals 1. So let's write our answer 1, and then repeat the process. 1 times 17 equals 17. 18 minus 17 equals 1. And now it's time to bring down. But now there's no more numbers to bring down, and we're not at 0. So what does that mean? We have remainder. So all we need to do are 1. So we have our answer. The question, how many students go into each classroom? And the answer is 21 students go into each classroom. But we have remainder 1. So what that means, there will be one classroom that will have 22 students. All we do is we put the remaining student into another classroom. So we have 21 classes, or we have 21 students in each classroom, but there will be one classroom with 22. And that's how we use the remainders. So well done, guys. That was excellently worked out. And what we've got now is a PowerPoint presentation with some division word problems involving remainders. So what we're going to ask our students to do now is get a pencil and a piece of paper, and as we go through the division word problems, we can work them out together. And then at the end, we can all agree on our answer. So let's turn to look at the TV screen, guys. So let's take a look at our PowerPoint presentation, division word problems, lesson 2. Okay, so our first division word problem. Let's read together. A bakery makes 750 cakes in 22 days. So our question, how many cakes does the bakery make in one day? Okay, so after we've read our word problem carefully, we have our numbers. So how many cakes, guys? 750. And then how many days? 22. So our division problem is 750 divided by 22. So we can organize by doing our division table. And as we know, the first digit, 7, is smaller than 22. So 0 above the 7. So the question is, how many times will 22 go into 75? And the answer is 3 times. If you want to check that, you can do 22 plus 22 equals 44. And then add another 22, 66. If we try to add another fourth 22, it will be too big. So 22 will go into 75 3 times. So next, we multiply. 3 times 22? 66. Then what's next, guys? Subtract. 75 minus 66 equals 9. Okay, so what's the next step? Bring down. We have the 0 to bring down, so now 0 becomes 90. So we just repeat the process. Now we have to find out how many times will 22 fit into 90? And the answer is 4 times. So we can write 4 and then repeat the process. 4 times 22 equals 88. And then step 3, subtract 88 from 90. Leaves us with 2. And then what's the next step? Bring down. But there's nothing left to bring down. But we're not at 0. What does that mean we have to do with number 2, guys? Remainder 2. Okay, so now we have our answer. 750 divided by 22 equals
34 or remainder 2.
Yes, 34 R2 or 34 remainder 2. So now we can answer our word problem. A bakery makes 750 cakes in 22 days. How many cakes does the bakery make in 1 day? And now we can answer. The bakery makes 34 cakes in 1 day, with 2 cakes remaining. You see, the remainder at the end of the problem. We can't just forget about the cakes. We just have to say at the end, 2 cakes remaining. Understand, guys? That was excellent. Well done. Shall we do one more together? There are 847 bananas to be shared between 35 monkeys. So our question, how many bananas will each monkey receive? Okay, so once we've read our word problem carefully, we can see our numbers for calculation. The number of bananas, 847. And how many monkeys? 35. So our division word problem calculation is 847 divided by 35. So like we've always done, because we're dividing by 2 digits, the first digit won't be big enough. The 8, we can write the answer as 0. So the question we ask, 84 divided by 35. How many times does 35 go into 84? 2, yes. It won't go in 3 times. 3 will be too big, but it will fit in 2 times. And then for step 2, multiply. 2 times 35 equals 70. Well done. Now for step 3, subtract. 84 minus 70 equals 14. Excellent. Okay. Now what do we do next? Bring down. So we bring down the 7, and the 7 will make how many? 147. So now we need to find out how many times will 35 go into 147? 4. Do we think? 4 times? Let's find out. 35, 1 time. Then another 35, 70. Let's add another 35, 105. Then another 35, 140. Well done, guys. You see, 4 35s will fit in. If we try to add a 5th 35, it's too big. So 35 will fit into 147 4 times. Then multiply. 4 times 35 equals 140. And then subtract 147 minus 140 equals 7. And now bring down. But nothing left to bring down. What does that mean we have to do with 7? Remainder 7. So our answer is... Excellent. Well done. We can say 847 divided by 35 equals 24, remainder 7. So now we can answer our division word problem. There are 847 bananas to be shared between 35 monkeys. How many bananas will each monkey receive? And now we have our answer. We can say each monkey will receive 24 bananas, with 7 bananas left over. Because our remainders at the end of the calculation, we still have to account for in our word problem. Any questions, guys? That was brilliant. Very well done. Welcome back to class. We hope your students enjoyed the PowerPoint presentation so that they can begin to understand how to work out and answer division word problems involving remainders. Them numbers left over at the end, we can't just forget. They need to be accounted for and answered in the word problem. And now it's time for our stretch sequence. So let's stand up and push in our chairs, guys. And we'll begin by doing some rotations. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Excellent. And now we'll do 5 stretches to our right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, And then 5 stretches to our left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent, guys. Now let's have a shake. Arms and legs. Shake it out. And next, we'll take our right hand and we'll find our left foot. Then our left hand, right foot. Right hand, left foot. Left hand, right foot. Right hand, left foot. Left hand, right foot. Right hand, left foot. Left hand, right foot. Okay. And to finish, we will do 5 star jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent, guys. Have a seat. And now it's time for the worksheet part of our lesson. So teachers, make sure each student in your classroom gets their own worksheet. And on today's worksheet, similar to the previous lesson, there are 3 division word problems. The difference this time is that the division word problems our students will calculate today have remainders. So they need to remember that the numbers left over at the end have to be accounted for too. But what's the first thing we need to do, guys? Write your names on top. And give our students around 15 minutes for this activity because they have to read the problems carefully, write the numbers for calculation, and then calculate them using the long division method. So give them around 15 minutes should be enough. And Lakgau, this one's for you. You're welcome. Prel, here's yours. You're welcome. Down for you. You're welcome. Chu, here's yours. You're welcome. Nadia, this one's for you. You're welcome. Pat, this one for you. Pak Boom, you're welcome. Annette, this one's for you. You're welcome, guys. So remember, first thing to do, read your word problem carefully. Identify the numbers for calculation and then use the long division method to calculate them, just like we've been doing. So the first problem, let's see, what have we got for the first problem? We've got 515 students. So 515 students in a school, and there are 23 classrooms. So guys, our first problem, 515 divided by 23. So first thing to do, organize our large number in the table and our divisor outside. So your division table for the first word problem should look like this. And then, using the method that we've known, the first digit is too small. 23 into 5 cannot. So 0 above the 5. But how about 23 into 51? How many times can we fit 23 into 51? Any guesses?
2.
Any ideas? 2. 2 is correct, Pak Bung. So we can write our answer 2. Then multiply. 2 times 23 equals 46. Then the next step is to subtract 51 minus 46. Not 5. Think again. 5. I'm messy. Okay, so now what do we do? Bring down. Well done, Nadia. So 5 becomes 55. So what we do next is we need to find out how many times does 23 go into 55? Equals 2 again, well done. 2 times 23. 46, as we seen earlier. And this time, 55 minus 46 equals 9. Well done. Now it's time to bring down again. But, oh, no more numbers. We can't bring down. So that means 9. What happens with 9? Oh, 9. So our answer is 22 remainder 9. We can say that 22 students will fit into each of the classrooms with 9 students left over. So they'll all have to be put into additional classrooms. And that's how we answer division word problems. If you need any more help, guys, let me know. Welcome back to class. We hope your students enjoyed the worksheet exercise where they had to carefully read each of the division word problems and calculate them correctly. And remember, guys, always to account for your remainders at the end too. We can't just forget about them. And all my students here did a great job, so well done. And that's all we've got time for today. So we hope you've enjoyed the lesson and found it interesting and now know how to answer division word problems involving remainders. And we'll see you again soon for the next lesson. So can we turn to wave and say goodbye, guys? Bye-bye. See you again soon.